Good Morning Gwinnett presents the Friday Morning Mingle, the show hosted by the women of the Thrive Tribe, sponsored by the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce. Check out the ladies every Friday morning at 10 a.m. as they talk about their real life as an entrepreneur. If you miss an episode, be sure to go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to listen to past shows. Sit back and enjoy.
Good morning. I still got my name tag on. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Friday Morning Mingle. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. Got power player Derrick J. Wilson in the house with me today. Woo woo.
Good morning.
Listen, Derrick has been on the live in a long time, y'all. We used to host a show called Popcorn and Politics, and we used to do it every Sunday at 2 o'clock, but we politics kind of beat me down after that last election, so I couldn't get excited about it no more. Speaking of politics, I saw some folks lost that I was a little surprised.
Yeah, it was a couple of shockers. Snellville, Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
Lilburn.
What happened in Lilburn? I think I knew Lilburn.
One of the city council ladies lost re-election.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a little shocked about some things, but this is not about politics today. This is about Derrick J. Wilson, power player. So Derrick J. Wilson is a power player. So listen, Derrick and I have known each other. We actually met because of my podcast back in 2018, 19, I think it was. And we remained good friends ever since. I call him my nephew. You know, he likes to remind me how old I am. I'm not old enough to be his mother. I could be, though. But I'm not. I'm not. So I'm going to go with the auntie role. But nonetheless, he is a power player. And he rocks a lot of boats in Gwinnett County. But, you know, that's what power players do. They are disruptors. That's what they do. And so I decided it would only be fitting to have him on the show today to talk about some of the great things he's done outside of causing ruckus in Gwinnett County. He's done some really, really, really good things. No, I'm just kidding. He does really good stuff. You know, let me tell you what I know about Derrick, right? This is what I know about him. I know that he's passionate about any cause that he set his sights on, right? He's passionate about it. He's an advocate for the people. Like, he gonna speak for the ones that I'm not gonna say they can't speak for themselves. They won't. And I said to him, why that's not you don't have a dog in this game, bro. And he still fight for those people. So he speak for those people. He also speak out of turn sometimes, and that pisses folks off. So, you know, but that's what power players do. They don't bite their tongues. I was thinking about Steve Jobs the other day. I'm working on a project, right, Derrick? And I said, you know, when I get it finished, I was gonna put on a black turtleneck and some jeans, because I haven't seen a woman do this yet. I was gonna put on a black turtleneck, roll up my sleeves, put some jeans on. I was gonna stand on stage with a big screen behind me and talk about this project, because that's what Steve Jobs did. He was a disruptor, and everybody followed that. Yeah, everybody followed the path of that. But anyway, so Derrick is here today because he is the president of the Greater Eastside Chamber of Commerce, but he's also the president of the communicationsmd.com. And so we're going to talk about what that is and what's happening at GECC. Had a chance to meet with one of your members this morning at the breakfast, and she's like, I'm a member over at the Greater East Side. I was like, oh, okay, well, welcome, come on in. So, you know, you're doing great things over there. So let's talk about Greater East Side. When Derrick first got on board with Greater East Side, he came on as the treasurer. Now he's the president, and he's rocking the boat as always, but in a good way. So what's happening at GECC, Derrick?
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. You know, I feel like home every time I get on here. About Steve Jobs, wasn't he the motivation behind TED Talks? Like, because TED Talks are kind of similar to what he used to do when he announces products, you know, on the screen, on the stage by himself. And
I don't know, but I'm going to follow in the footsteps.
Yeah, me too. I like that. I want to do a TED Talk, though. But we'll cross that bridge later.
Yeah.
I'm the president of the Greater Eastside Chamber of Commerce. We are the official chambers for the cities of Loganville, Snellville, and Grayson. We have just expanded. I say just. Back in June, we expanded to include the business communities in the cities of Conyers, Covington, Decula, Lawrenceville, Lithonia, Stonecrest, and then some of the surrounding areas. Actually, we have an event tonight in Covington. One of the members have an event. It's like a game night, similar to what we went to in Loganville. game night in Covington. So, we're out there. We have businesses, we have members out there. We're getting invited to different things. So it's a lot going on. We're getting ready to launch a major initiative in January. So stay tuned for February, but we're getting ready for it. So it's exciting.
So what made you decide? Because I know, for those of you who don't know, I was formerly the vice president of the Greater East Side Chamber of Commerce. Um,
Sound effects.
huh?
He got sound effects.
I do. I have sound effects. Oh, maybe my microphone is too far away. Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh, my mic was a little far away. One of the things we had when I was there, we had some challenges just trying to grow the membership and keep members engaged and things like that because most micro and solopreneurs just don't have the time to be engaged. But you decided to expand, which I was like, Lord have mercy. Like, why? So what made you decide to do the expansion?
Well, one of the reasons was again the area. It was hard to get the current members to be engaged, and then we kept getting but I and the chamber kept getting invited to events or to partner and things that was outside of the jurisdiction. When I talk to people and I'm like, well, our area is Snellville, Grayson, Loganville, and the surrounding areas. They were quick to say, well, we're in the surrounding area. Well, the surrounding areas was more like unincorporated Gwinnett and Walton counties. But then I just stopped fighting it. I mean, and then, just as we started to get members from these respective areas, it just started to make sense. We've always had members out of as far out as Monroe, Georgia, and we had, I think, a couple of them from Covington, Georgia. And so we always had members, and I always tell people that as long as you can do business in our area, it was fine. But then, as like I say, continue to get invited to areas outside of our three cities, it just started to make sense that clearly there's a need out there. And so that's where we are. Our goal is not to be any competition or step on any toes. We would like to be more collaborative and fill in whatever gaps that the larger chambers are missing.
It's funny. So so Derrick got invited. So Greater East Side Chamber got invited to this event last week that the Gwinnett Women's Chamber wasn't invited. So I wrote an article. I was like, yeah, I'm in my feelings. I mean, he was like, well, it's almost like you got to pay your dues to be, anyway, it was crazy because I was in my feelings because GWC didn't get the invite and I was in my feelings. I'm allowed. But speaking of collaboration,
it took us a while to get there to even get an invite.
That's what he said. He said he's like, you just started. It took us 3 years to get there. I'm like, yeah, but aren't we supposed to be collaborative because we're all supporting the same people? Like, why it has to be like this? You got these steps to get to the table. So me, I'll create my own table, but that's another story. Speaking of collaborations, one of the things and here's the thing, y'all, we have in Gwinnett County alone, I don't know how many chambers we have. We have a lot of them. I was telling somebody that they was going, oh my God. Like, yeah, we got quite a few chambers. And I think it's because we kind of all serve our little audience of people. We have the big chamber that didn't invite me. Yeah, I'm saying it again. Big chamber did not invite GWC. I'm saying it again. You know what's crazy about that? No, I ain't gonna even go into that. Anyway, we didn't get the invite. But anyway, so we have a lot of smaller chambers, but I feel like it's because people want to service a certain group of people or certain locations and areas like that. But I've learned now when I was a vice president, Derrick's mostly the front runner. We did a lot of stuff together, but he was really the front runner. Now me being a front runner, and he loves politics. I thought I loved him. I realized that all of this stuff is about politics. I think for me, what happens is I feel like the mission gets lost behind the politics for me. And so, in my opinion, we're here to serve the small businesses that need our help. So I've learned, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like us being in these positions, we're still in politics, which sucks in my opinion. but
it's a level of politics. I think politics is in just about everything. You have, office politics, you have the politics, political government, and then you have, corporate politics, and
small business
so
politics.
small business, and so it's, it plays a role and a factor in a lot of things that we do, and so um, you know, I feel the same way. There's a lot of support, and there's a lot of non-support of certain organizations based on people politics. And when I got into this role, I knew that I was known as a political candidate, and so I knew that people who saw me, who met me as a political candidate and didn't support whatever party I supported, I knew that was going to be a problem. But over the years, my goal has been to try to convince them and get them to understand that in this role as the chamber president, only color that matters is green, and not libertarian. I'm talking about money. Our goal is to bring economic uh, opportunities to the businesses in the area, to the community, whether you're blue or red. Um, as a chamber, we're here to support whatever is going to support the economic, the engine for this area. And so it's been a little challenge to get some of the elected officials to see that. But then you have elected officials who um, that you possibly ran against, and we being technical one, that feel some type of way. So they, you know, it's just you have to navigate the politics. That's the short. I mean, it's sad because we have members that we represent. We have a collective of numbers that I'm not going to say numbers, members that we represent. So we're not going into these places just Derrick and Audrey. We're going in there with 100. Collectively could be 200, 300 people behind us that we're asking for these things, but they don't see that, and so it's been a challenge. But I also see a light at the end of the tunnel. So, but of course, I always see the light. I'm always chasing the light that's starting to look more like a mirage instead of
I
actually.
know. You know what's crazy is I feel like so much and here's the thing too. Derek and I service pretty much like the same kind of clients. Gwinnett Women's Chamber just focuses more on women. However, men show up to our stuff all the time and they're welcome. But I feel like when it comes to the resources that are available to the small businesses, we have to jump through so many hoops. Like there is no clear path to these resources, and that's what I'm constantly trying to advocate for to no end, but I seem to keep running into a wall every time because there are resources out there, but the clear path to get to those resources for the small business owners who are micro businesses is never a clear path. And I feel like when we talk to people in charge, they seem to feel like just go online and look for it. But we talking about micro businesses who are working in their business, they don't have the opportunity to work on their business. So if we're trying to be a pathway for them to be able to get to these resources, at least open up the path so we can walk down the path and bring it back up the path. We can't even get that most of the time. So I think that's a little bit stressful for me in the position that we hold, that we don't have, there is no clear path. It's always, well, go do this and go do that. And then you go do that and do that. And then there's still no closure. The other thing too is trying to form partnerships, with, government officials or entities or whatever you call them. That has been a challenge. Like it's even that is not a clear, you would think that that's a clear cut path because you're talking to people and, they're telling you, yeah, we can do these things and nothing ever happens. And it's like, so what do you do? So what I've decided, and I don't know about Derrick, but, and we've had this conversation, we've just decided to do what we can do to help our members to get to where they need to go. And unfortunately, we don't have the support that we need. So we're going to have to be support for each other. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to keep trying. Rome wasn't built overnight, so you have to continue to, as I said I guess interview past Tuesday, you have to have perseverance and persistence and keep going. Um, and sometimes you have to do things unconventional. I think I told you just recently, I had someone that wasn't returning my calls, wasn't returning my emails. So I popped up at the office. Hey, how you doing? you know, and that's a little unconventional, but it also, hey, I'm just checking up on you. How you doing? I think maybe maybe I lost your number or something. And it sparked the conversation up again. And will it go somewhere? Don't know. Hopefully, but you continue to try to get accomplish your goal. And again, like I said, the goal is the betterment for our members. And like I've stressed multiple times, our members are residents, and residents are voters.
Yeah.
And so, although we're nonpartisan and we don't advocate for any party, but I will let our members know who support us and who does not support us.
Yeah.
And
that's important. So, Derrick, as being a chamber president, what are some of the challenges that some of your members face? I know we have quite a few on our side. What are some of the challenges that your members face that you feel like GECC is going to help them to conquer those issues to move them forward?
Well, one of the things that a lot of our members face is a real outside of funding, because everybody have a funding, issue, unless you was born into a rich family and got $1 million loan from your pops. Other than that, we all have some type of financial. But outside of that is a real legit opportunity for training, or not even training, but like you say, they too busy working in their business that they don't have the opportunity to work on their business. And then when they are presented with the opportunity to work on their business, is unaffordable. And so that's one of the things that we at GECC is trying to make our niche. We had, as 2 years ago, I guess we had a meeting. Maybe it was a year ago. We had a meeting with someone and they asked, "What is our niche?"
Mm-hmm. 2 years ago.
So, 2 years ago, okay. And so, thinking about that, I believe our niche is being able to provide affordable training opportunities for members and the business community as a whole. And not just those, regular, hey, how do you do a business plan? Like we're creating interactive, I think, fun solutions of how to do business, and different from the normal, boring textbook thing. Because we all have the textbook experience, or some of us, and that's great. But we need more hands-on experience. Eventually, we'll be launching like apprenticeship programs in order to help with the labor shortage. Because then not only are you struggling because you really don't necessarily know how to run your business, but then while you're running your business, you also you're struggling because you have a shortage of help. But then as I was talking with GGC about interns, one of the things that they put out is, well, are you ready for an intern? Are you ready for employees? You have to have your house in order before you can invite guests over.
So explain that, because as you were saying that, one of the things I know for a fact is when we talk to a lot of small business owners, especially solopreneurs, they just don't have the wherewithal to pay anybody. So, and I just had this conversation at the breakfast, like there are people in the room who were solopreneurs and did not have, the wherewithal to pay someone to be on as a staff member. But there were some other things that I suggested that they could do. When you talk about your apprenticeship program and your internship program, are these paid positions that these small business owners will have to pay, or are these people getting credit and experience, or a combination of the two?
It'll be a combination of the two. As far as the apprenticeship program, the goal is to, as we currently are working on partnering with the U.S. Department of Labor and the Georgia Department of Labor, the apprenticeship program will be paid through grants and through the Department of Labor. And then eventually, once they get the apprenticeship, get whatever license that's required for that industry. We're starting with plumbing, then HVAC and electrical, but then partnering members or partnering companies will eventually obviously take over the salary, and but they basically got free on the job training as far as for the customer or the member didn't have to necessarily pay for that, to train people. If it doesn't work out, there's no loss really other than your time. But the reason, one of the things that that we're going to set up and prepare businesses is, how do you know you are ready for interns or employees, and if you're not ready, how to get ready. And that's, sometimes it can be something as simple as our rates. Well, if you're charging $2.99 and that $2.99 is barely paying for the product and taking care of you, well, that $2.99 may not work, if you're trying to get to a point where you're scaling, because eventually, there's a difference between being a business owner and someone working in a business. Because if, the solopreneur, at some point, you would like to switch from a solopreneur into an entrepreneur into a business owner, because everyone's goal, I think, that starts a business is one day to be a business owner. That's where you're sitting on a beach and your business is still running.
That's right.
Or when you pass away, your business is still running. Now it's passed down to your family, or if you decide to retire before you pass away, you decide to retire, you have a business that's still running. Sam Walton created a business. He was a small business owner. Now they're the largest retail, or one of the I think Amazon is the largest now.
Yeah.
But they're one of the largest retailers in the world. And, but it started with a grocery store or a small mom and pop store, Sam Walton. So, but eventually you have to, it's a mindset, and people think that, hey, I start a business today. In 6 months, I'm going to hire my first, and sometimes it just don't work like that.
It don't. I've been in business 26 years. I haven't hired a person yet.
Not
as a W-2 employee. I mean, independent contractors all day long, but as a W-2, I have not. Now in the process of scaling right now. That's the goal. But and like you said, are you ready for that? Like, I know before now, I wasn't thinking about that. Not for real. Like, independent contractors work well. But as I become a woman of a certain age, as I previously mentioned, I'm looking to put people in place so I don't have to be at certain places when I don't want to be. So that's going to take me bringing on a team of people, which is where I am right now. So, but for years, it was okay for me because I love what I did, and it was okay for me to be all hands in, and it ain't okay for me no more. It's not, because I'm tired after 26 years and I want to do something else. So now, Derrick, I'm in business process. I'm in business mode, right? I've been in entrepreneur mode for 20 years. I was in solopreneur mode for the first 3 years. Now for the last 23 years, I've been in entrepreneur. Now I'm in business mode.
It's time for business mode.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, at some point we had to get past the hustle, because that's what it, people think hustle is a bad word. I mean, no, hustle is what it is. You're hustling. Like you're trying to provide or make means to end. But I asked someone, I'm not as old as others, but I asked someone the other day about like for me, I'm thinking more about legacy at this point, at this age in life. And so if I start a business, if I have a brand, it's not going to be Derrick Wilson. It's not going to be Derrick, live with Derrick or whatever, because my question to them was, okay, so what's going to happen when Derrick is not available anymore?
Right.
Are you just going to make it a brand? So now, so over the course of the years, it's going to be set up where, although it's called, Live with Derrick, they're going to get used to seeing Audrey and Maria and other folks. And so when Derrick walked, kind of like what she didn't even do her name, but kind of like Barbara Walters did with The View. You know, she could have easily said The View with Barbara.
Yep.
But she didn't. She called it The View. And now, I mean, it worked out for other people like Live with Regis and Kathy. They just kept changing the name. But, The View was set up as Barbara Walters' baby. And it's still her legacy. But she didn't name it Barbara's View or The View with Barbara. And so that's why I'm trying to get people to understand. But I went through that my first business because we all want our names on everything.
Mm-hmm.
My first business was Wilson Janitorial. I'm like, I'm the president. Business cards, I'm the president, CEO. And then
I can see Wilson being the brand though. Like they got a Wilson brand, so I can see Wilson Janitorial being the brand. Now Derrick J. Wilson and Janitorial, that may be a little much, but Wilson.
Well, for me, it was a much because my last name is Wilson. So when I show up to your business trying to put myself as this large conglomerate as Wilson Janitorial, and I'm Derrick Wilson, it's like to me it automatically screamed mom and pop. So I pivoted Wilson Janitorial, the same janitorial company. All I did was went downtown, got a LLC, and got incorporated, and then I became Guardian Facility Management. And so now, actually, it was GFM Enterprises doing business as Guardian Facility Management. Then I can go in as Derrick Wilson, and then I no longer had to be the president and CEO. I was, I set it up where it looked like I answered to someone. So I was just a small business development manager.
Now let me say this because this is funny you say that. So one of my companies, I was a CEO, president and CEO and founder, right? Here's where ego messed you up, right? So people thought I worked for the company, but I'm like, no, I'm the president. Like, because now your ego done got on there. Like, how dare you say I work for the company? That's me being ignorant. Like, you know what I mean? Like saying, maybe I should have been like the employee for the day. No, I'm the president. I'm the founder.
I learned that's early on.
That's ego, And so a lot of times ego getting away because you don't want to be looked at as, especially us, because we don't want to be looked at as the help. Right. We want to be looked at as the owner. So when that happened to me, of course, my ego jumped out like, no, I'm the president and founder of this company. Which at that point, I probably should have been just an employee of the company, which I am that too. But just as an executive. So I think what you said makes
sense. To be.
Right. But a lot of small businesses don't think like that because I didn't think like that. I was young at the time. I wasn't thinking like that. Now I'm young and arrogant and got an ego issue going on about this whole company thing and president. Not only that, I was in an industry where you didn't see a lot of Black people. So matter of fact, you probably didn't see hardly any. And I'm in a toy industry where you don't see Black folk, right? And here I am, this young Black woman, Georgette and I, and we're in this industry where you don't see us, and we have this thing that came out of my head. Now it's a product, and people. I remember being in the store, and the lady said, "You work for the company?" And I'm looking at her like, I want to say some choice word, like, "No, I'm the owner." Are you? I am. So that happened a lot and it annoyed me to no end, but that was because I was not mature enough to know. At that point, I felt like she needed to know who I was. Let me just keep that real because of the way she said it. So I felt like she needed to know who I was. But moving forward, that still was my thing, right? Like anytime anybody would say that, I would get offended. Like, I'm the owner,
I have moments now where, I mean, there was a situation, I arrive and people was having some words and I joined in. Yeah, I mean, what time we supposed to be here? And isn't that? And then so I'm like, well, I guess we're early. Went on by my business, come back and someone approached me. Aren't you the president? Oh, well, I am. And then they were like, why you didn't say nothing? Because we were early. We were early, the time that, the event didn't start until, this time. And you guys, are 20, 30 minutes early and complaining saying no one's here. So I was agreeing with you. You're right. Where everybody at? I could have came out and be like, well, I'm here. I'm the president. Shut up. I just felt like, go with the flow. And then when it was the right time, I introduced myself because I don't think you always have to walk into every situation wearing your title that you're the president, CEO. I'm the big boss. No, sometimes you can just. I remember growing up, my pastor used to come into the church and sit in the back sometimes. Sometimes you are who you are.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you are.
And I do that more these days than ever. Like, I love to come into the room and nobody knows. And I do it a lot these days. Like, I love to be in the room just talking to people. They have no idea who I am. And I always let everybody introduce themselves first. And then I introduce myself laughing. They're like, oh, I had no idea. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
And that was intentional because I want you to be regular around me, right? Because I'm regular. For the most part, I'm a regular person. And then the minute you slap a title on it, you become irregular. Like, you're not a regular person. And people will remind you, you're not regular, Derrick. You're the president. Now that has its perks. We know that. But sometimes you just want to be regular in the room. And so I would intentionally not say a word until like everybody goes around the room and then I introduce myself. And I think that's a good thing. I had to learn that though.
I had to learn it early because as you know, I can be a little snappy. So imagine when I was younger, I was a lot more snappier. And but I was also determined to grow my business. And so once the name switch, because it's kind of hard to be snappy and then say you answer to someone when your name is on the bill.
Mm-hmm.
So I switched it up. I made myself the director of business development. So director means you answer to somebody. Although you're still up there, but director is not vice president. Director is not an executive. And then I always surrounded myself, and you fall in this bracket. I always surrounded myself with people that were older than me, smarter than me, that's been there, done that.
Definitely smart. I definitely fall in the smarter than you bracket. I get that. Go ahead.
You was in the old now, I'm messing with.
Definitely. Go ahead.
And so by surrounding, because my whole philosophy is, yes, I have friends. I have friends my age. I have friends younger than me, but I also have a lot more friends older than me, and that's intentional because I'm trying to get to where you are.
Yeah.
Or even if you're not where I want to be, you still have gone through things that I can learn from.
Yeah.
And so by saying that, I reach out to my friends. Yo, hey, I'm restructuring my business. If there's any situations, would you mind playing XYZ role?
Yeah.
And they was like, yeah, okay. I'm not paying you. And so it came into play. We had a contract. I'll show up and this and that. And they was a little upset about the crew. And I was making all these promises. And they was like, well, I need to speak to someone else at Guardian because, clearly you're having a hard time keeping your crew together. And I could have then flexed. Well, I'm the owner. I was like, okay, well, hold on. Let me get you on the phone with my supervisor. He's a VP of business development. He got on the phone, smoothed everything, told her the exact same thing that I told her. Matter of fact, I told him what, we had the conversation, but it worked. And it's good to have, I guess mentors or have people that support you. They're able to, to help, they help you with that. Like now I say it's a buffer. I feel like everybody, especially in leadership, especially as business owners, that's doing everything, you should have someone that you can use as a buffer that can let people know, because everybody, like I said, everybody don't need to know that you're the owner.
Yeah.
Because that can work against you in a lot of ways. And so I learned that at 20, it was before 26, because I don't think my daughter was born. I learned that at a young age. And I've been using that. And then now I sometimes be that owner or that supervisor for businesses. I get a call and they say, hey, Derrick, I got a situation. Could you, explain, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, yeah. And then I go in, I'm his boss. What? Play the role, or we'll take care of that. And then I'm sorry, ma'am, and move, because at the end of the day, you have to have a support system. Like I say, a family raising a kid is you need a village. Starting a business and running a business, you need a village, and and you need to know, where you are and how to get to the next level. And that's where we're at GECC. That's where we're going to focus on, or making sure people is prepared for that. Because just because you're bringing in the money doesn't mean that you're prepared for employees. Because like you said, 1099 and W-2 is a different beast.
Yes.
Because I had several W-2 employees, and I wasn't ready when I started, but now I've had to get ready, because then that's when you realize that, oh, if I'm paying you $25,000 a year, that's what I'm paying you, but I still got taxes.
Right.
So now your 25,000 just turned into 30,000, or 32,000, or whatever. Because now you got unemployment taxes, you got federal taxes, all that is. So now you got to think about the entire benefit package, where people don't think about that. They just like, oh, okay, I need an employee that I'm going to pay 20,000 a year. Well, do you have a CPA, or do you have anyone that knows anything about bookkeeping and taxes?
Yeah.
Because just because you're bringing in 50,000 a year, and you say, well, if I'm bringing in 50 and I'm going to take 25 for me, I'm going to take 25 for the employee. Well, that employee going to suck up at least 30, 35. Because of extra expenses. And then, are you going to offer any benefits? Are you going to offer paid vacation? That's money that, paid holidays. Those are things. And then eventually you have to calculate a raise. Like with my employee, when she first started, she was just making, let's say $15 an hour. And then, every year, of course, you wanted to find a way to keep them. So now as a business owner, you got to figure out what works best for you all.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't ask for a raise, but I wanted to show my appreciation. When I first hired her, it was, $15 an hour when you work. It wasn't no paid holidays, paid time off, or nothing. Mm-hmm. So for me, in order to stay within my budget and to show my appreciation, hey, this year, we're going to start offering these paid holidays. So now, now you still get your $15 an hour, but now you get MLK Day off. You get paid for that. I know, and then, but that brings, that builds value, that builds a sense of community, and so now, you can't do that with everybody, but you have to do what works best for your business, and that worked for me. And to this day, I can actually do anything, and. And she been around from I think any business or organization, association, campaign I was ever associated with in the last 4 years. This employee has been there rocking with me because I take care of her.
Let me tell you this. This is so funny. So I had two employees. The first time I hired my first two employees, right? My husband just reminded me this the other day. We hired two, and we had just we had just gotten married, I think. We had just gotten married, and we hired our first two employees. They were the worst. Now, here's the problem with that. You need to make sure you're ready to be a boss. You know what I mean? Because now you got to manage people. I was not ready to be a boss, but I did not know I wasn't ready to be a boss. So I hired these two people, gave them their assignment, and trusted that they would do the work. Well, they were not doing. Not only were they not doing the work, they was having an affair with each other. It was hilarious. So when we go back, I'm thinking they're doing field work. They doing field work, all right. Not my field work.
FEEL work. Huh?
There you go. And when I tell you I wasn't ready, so you need to make sure that you're ready to be a boss too. Because I thought I was ready. I was not ready. He had me crying the other night. He's like, remember we hired them two people? Because they jerked us there. We lost so much money thinking that they're doing what they were supposed to do, and they just weren't. They out there doing their thing. They were doing what they want to do, not what they were supposed to be doing. So, when you think about it, and I think that's what burned me, like when I got ready to move forward, I was like, I don't trust anybody. I'm just going to do it all myself. Yeah. And because that situation burned me, and I felt like I couldn't trust anybody to come on and do the work that I had to get done, right? So I want to do everything myself, but you can't scale when it's just you. But for years, it was just me. And I would hire on like an independent contractor to do this or do that. But when you're trying to scale, you can't scale really when it's just you, unless you have a really solid digital plan in place that you don't, it doesn't require you, but it just requires some capital to be put behind it. Then you can scale, right? Even with that though, if you're going to scale, like really scale, you still need to have those people in the back that's going to handle the customer service for you. Because unless you want that to be you, I hate customer service, so I don't want that to be me. So you got to have people in place for those things. So that's important. Let me ask you this, because I know that you said training. When it comes to training and development, because this is a challenge that I don't know if you figured it out, but I haven't figured it out. We think that we put together the best group of people to bring these trainings, right? And we have some that we have no room for people to sit, right? But then we have others that I feel are really important, like money. No one shows up. So how do you know that the trainings that you're putting together are going to be trainings that your members want? Because I could tell you right now, there was a training that we did recently. Me personally, I thought it was just an amazing training, because if you don't know how to be more productive, especially as a solopreneur, how are you going to move forward if it's just you, right? So we thought that this was the best training ever. And I think we had like 5 people show up, which I was shocked, because I know most people are solopreneurs. I know I have people who have come to me and said, Audrey, I can't even manage the calendar on my phone. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, what? But they weren't in the room. It was 4 people in the month of September came in and said something very similar, and neither one of them were in that room. So how do you know what trainings? Because I know that's what you're building your foundation on, training and development. But how do you know it's the right training and for your members?
Well, one, we send out different surveys and questionnaires and answer. And as you know from experience, sometimes they still don't know what they want.
Yeah.
And then now you have to read through the results and decipher these codes and
right.
be like, okay, I thought this was going to give us a clearer picture. All it did was made it more foggy. But again, it goes back to the persistence. We know, like you, as well as myself, as well as other people on our teams, we know what people always approach us and ask us about. We know what you need, but I can't spoon feed you. I can't make you come. Yep. Now, if you weren't available for this one, well, hopefully you'll be available for the next one or the next one. But eventually you have to get to a point that you have to tough love. Hey, yo, Arju, well, we put together a program specifically because you and a couple of others asked for XYZ, and you have yet to show up to that program. And now you ask me the exact same thing that this program, you really need to sign up for the program.
Yeah.
I can only do so much. I can teach you how to fish, or I can give you fish. But if I give you fish, you only gonna eat for today. But if I teach you how to fish, you'll be eating for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we're just gonna with the surveys, we're sending out another survey soon. But with the surveys and with just people, like you say, people approaching and asking the questions, just with our experience. But I say, without being offensive to anyone, small business owners or everything has levels to it. And so just like you have kids, baby to adulthood, it's the same way in everything. If you're a new business owner, you're a baby in business, and just like when you get to a certain point, when you get to preteen and teen, you think you know everything, but you really don't. Yep. And so we have a lot of preteens in business that they think they know everything. And eventually it's gonna take a couple of head bumps and knocks, but by the time they get to that, upper teen adult, young adulthood in business, then you'll start seeing them popping up more to these trainings that they need. Or if they get to the point that they're busy and they scaling, they'll start sending their representatives, because now somebody in the business may need to know how to get your money finances together, may need to know how to use AI to be more productive, because I hired you to make my company more productive. So you bring this idea from this training that you got from the from the chamber, even though they wasn't there, it still got to them. So just have to be persistent. I think that's gonna be the code word going into 24.
Yeah.
Persistence, because I've been on this road for a while now. So,
but that's the code. That should be the code word in general as it pertains to entrepreneurship and being a business owner, because there are plenty of days when I just want to get into bed and not get out and just cover my head up and say, what the did I get into this for? You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep it PG because it's a family show. But those were days, that I haven't had many of those in the last 5 or 6 years, but there have been some days that made me really question what were you thinking, right?
yeah.
Why are you still doing this? People don't care. Because let me tell you something, for me, that has been one of the biggest challenges I have had to overcome. Me feeling like I'm wasting my time because people don't care. Like I'm out here walking the streets to help you and you don't show up. Like they don't care. So
Yeah.
I've had to beat that back because I'm like, you know what? I ain't doing this. They don't care. They don't even care about none of the stuff I'm putting in place. They don't care. And I have people in my corner say, keep doing it no matter what. Be persistent. Don't you stop. They care. They just don't have time to show you that they care. And I'm thinking, it's my time. Like my time is valuable, but I signed up for that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying, Derrick? So what it means. Like nobody cares.
I've done quit almost daily. So I mean, in church, a preacher used to say that, or preachers say that you have to die to your flesh daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not saying that you have to, but some days are better than others. Yeah. But there's been plenty of nights, that you go to bed feeling some type of way and let down. But then there's always, as not trying to be preachy, but as the Bible says, there's joy come in the morning. There's always a new light. So when you go, I try not to go to bed upset. I turned my phone off at 9 o'clock.
Right. You got to text me at 12:30 last night.
Right, which I didn't even see until I'm like, oh, okay. But you knew I was asleep, so you knew
I knew
that.
you was asleep, but I said, I'm sure you're gonna say it first thing in the morning as a reminder. Hey, just a reminder.
Just a reminder with no time. But but you have I think that's just part of life. You have to if this is something that you're passionate about, you have to remind yourself daily why you're passionate about, why you're doing it, because every day is not going to be hunky-dory. Every day is not going to be a honeymoon. It's going to be some hard times.
You're going to have one honeymoon day. That's going to be the beginning.
Right.
The rest of them are going to be mediocre, whatever. And you have to remember, like Derrick said, why you started, whatever you started. Because, with me, I remember I had I've been doing this thing so long, y'all. I was telling somebody this morning, I bought my first computer in 1994. How old were you?
I was 9.
9. So I bought my first computer in 94. So I've been fumbling with computers forever. It seems like forever anyway.
You had the big floppy disk.
I did. For real, I did. I had a floppy disk. I had floppies, and then we graduated to CDs, and now we just have. I don't even think my computer has a CD player on it. But I remember when I started that, and I used to do a newsletter, a digital newsletter. This was like it was this woman. Her name was Allie Brown, and she started talking about doing these digital newsletters, right? And I was like, I'm gonna do a digital newsletter. So I had a print newsletter. I've been doing this forever, y'all. I had a print newsletter, and I had a digital newsletter. So my print newsletter was called Friends of Mine, right? And it was for everybody in the plus size industry that like plus size women. So if you wanted to be a friend of mine, you subscribe to the newsletter. And I had people that would subscribe, and I would mail it out like with paper. It was a paper newsletter. Then I graduated to the internet because the internet was just popping off. And I had a huge list of people that had no idea that fast forward to the day, that was $1 million list. I felt like they didn't care. I'd have deleted the whole thing. I'm deleting them and deleted the whole time. Fast forward now, like, oh my God, I was sitting on a gold mine, didn't even know it. So it's about being persistent.
Before I started my business, I was on Facebook for a while, since its inception. It was college Facebook. So move on to 08, 09. And before I really started my business, I had all these people on Facebook that well, if I don't talk to you, so I started going through deleting. I think I had like maybe at that time 800 some people. I deleted, got down to like 300, and then a week or two later, if not a month, I want to start this business, and I'm trying to get people. I'm like, oh man, I deleted all, and so now it's like, I'm over 2,000, but it's like now it's like, it's valuable, and
Right.
I probably would be more at 3,000 if I would have never deleted half of the
800,
population.
500 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we all have woulda, coulda, shouldas. If I would have paid that $2-3 in Google in 90 something, we'll all be billionaires right now, or
Shit, who you
Yahoo and
telling?
all that. I know you remember those.
Yes, I do. I remember them, man. Like what in the heezy for sheezy?
You can't
I
even
want
get
I
Google.
want to I want to change. I want to switch gears for a minute because I know you're not just talking about the chamber because you are the president. You are actually a small business owner yourself. So tell me about, because I know for me, it's always a juggling act to juggle such big jobs as the chamber presidents and then to be the CEOs of our own companies. And you just stepped out there and jumped into the media space. He came into my space, y'all. Not really my space. He came into the communication space. So I'm the type of person, I'm happy for everybody because I feel like this. If you get there before me, just tell me how you did it. That's me all day long. I don't care what. Just show me how you did it. Let me tell you a quick story before I tell you this. So I had a business coach, and his name was Andrew Morrison. He had been on Oprah. He was my coach. He was out of New York, and he had an assistant. Her name was Lucinda Cross. And they came to Jersey. I had an event. They came to Jersey. They spoke at the event because he was my coach. And he said to me, Audrey, and I'm big on, like, I love pretty things, I love pretty computer things. So I had somebody build me a website. I spent like all this money. It was beautiful. It was called Sister Ink. It was purple and green and white. I was so excited. He's like, your site is beautiful, but don't nobody know what you do. I was like, what do you mean it's on the site? So I'm telling him, he goes, yeah, but it doesn't say that on the site. All I see is pretty. And I was like, but so I wouldn't listen, right? Lucinda was his assistant. This is what I'm telling you. He was my coach. I'm sure he was coaching her too, but she was his assistant. I wouldn't listen to what he was saying. Now, this is a man who had made millions, had been on Oprah, where I was trying to get to. I wouldn't listen. Lucinda, on the other hand, was being an assistant, and she was listening. We were at the same space. She shot past me, Derrick. I mean, straight to the top on a vision board. She had one thing she promoted. It was a vision board in a box. That's what she promoted. I had been an entrepreneur. I thought I knew everything because I'm an inventor. I've invented something. I've manufactured overseas. I know what I'm doing. She shot right past me. Went straight to television. She on reality TV with a vision board in a box. That's what she had because she listened to him. I did not. Now, I could have been a hater. I was not. I was so proud of her. And I said to her, I'm so proud of you. I'm that person. I don't care which one of us get there first. Just tell me how you got there when you get there. So I said all that to say, Derrick has a new venture in communications. So how about you share about what that is, but also how do you balance that? Because I know the organizations we run, we manage a lot of people when we try to cater to all these different personalities. Let me tell y'all something. Being a chamber president, it's a whole lot of personalities in there, baby. And the one thing that people have said to me is that I'm too accessible. I want to be in the trenches with everybody, right? Not no more. Too many personalities, they suck me dry, some of them. So you deal with a lot of personalities. You got your own business, you got your families, you got your community activities. He's very active, y'all. You got your community activities. How the freak do you balance all that? Because I emptied my plate. I threw everything in trash. Like, nope, I'm about to start over with a clean plate. That one is going in the dishwasher. We're gonna get a new plate and we're gonna start over. And this is what's gonna be on this plate. How do you manage all that stuff?
That's what I had to do. It got to a point where I had too much on the plate. I was, getting sick, just getting sick, wasn't around enough for the family. And so I had to start making myself less accessible. to others. One of the things was I had to get a cutoff. 9 o'clock was my cutoff. My phone goes on do not disturb, and I purposely have nothing but family, not like family, not friends, family.
That explains some things then.
Because
I can't get through. That explains it.
Because if I extended it to like family and friends, I might as well not have it on do not disturb.
That's true.
Because limited to family, I know my family is not calling me all hours of the night unless
like midnight.
Unless it's an emergency.
Let me just say this for the record. I knew Derrick's phone goes off at 9 o'clock, so I text him to make sure when he woke up at 7, to don't forget. I know that already and I don't call Pat. If I call, it's something really important, but it's a text message, not even a call, because I don't want people.
Even then, I wouldn't know unless
Yeah.
I'm on the phone. I mean, because as you know, I've sent text messages after 9. I have conversations after 9. But anybody that know that that's a small window. Because the moment I put that phone down, I'll walk away and forget. It might be 30, 45 minutes if I'm still awake that you'll get a response because I'm on do not disturb. But I had to start doing that because I'm always extreme. So at first, I just completely put my phone on silent, and that was it. Well, before my mom moved, and she'll call, or people be calling, my aunts, and they be like, "Well, you can't do that. Like you can't be putting your phone on silent, this and that." And I was like, "Well, you have my wife number, call her." But I just told her like recently, "Look, you need to start putting your phone on because now some of her notifications be waking me. Hey, I need you to, because I think it sets boundaries. And I had to I had a particular member of the chamber that felt like everyone should talk to the president. Everyone, and no, everyone does not need to have access to the president. I always use one particular president as an example. Everybody don't have access to that president. Mm-hmm. Walk up and say, "Hey, I want to talk to this president." You can't randomly call him. And so I'm learning to set boundaries for the chamber, for my role as a chamber. And so if you reach me between these hours, great. If you don't, leave a message, send me an email, I will respond. Now, granted, since I try to go to bed by 9 o'clock, I may be up at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. You may get an email response at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. But I'm emailing you and responding at that time because I'm hoping that you have your stuff set up as well where you have quiet time so it's not waking you up. Because we all have different systems. Because I may, like I say, I wake up at 5. I saw your message at 5 come this morning. But I train myself, try not to respond until at least 6, 7, because don't know.
Yeah, my phone is off, so it's all right. You can respond. I don't even have my ringer is never on ever, never. So my phone never rings. If you text me, call me, it's never gonna ring.
You don't vibrate all the time.
Huh? All the time.
Yeah, well, when I have my watch on, I can do that. But if I don't have my watch on, I could be sitting there in the car enjoying some good music and totally miss your entire message or call. Yeah. But I had to do that. I had to balance that out. I had to take some vacation time. This year is the first year that we've traveled as much as we traveled this year. I went to California in February, Florida in June, a cruise in October. We're going somewhere else in December. Ain't figured it out yet, but it's like because I had to start taking time for family.
Yeah.
As you get older, you start realizing that time waits for no one. You're getting older. Your kids are getting older, and then you don't want to be in a situation where now they resent you for not being around, although you think you're doing the best because you're providing them with all this stuff, but that's material.
Yeah.
And so that's how I've been able to balance, just been making sure I take time out for myself, time out for my family, and putting putting in boundaries as far as, I'm not the president 24/7, although I am, but you're not,
Right.
Now if someone call you and you wake up at midnight and you see an emergency that's presidential related, then you have to deal with it. But other than that, I ain't gonna see it till the next morning. And now I'm mad at myself that I woke up. And then I try not to, when I wake up, say go to the restroom or something, I try my darndest not to look at my phone. Get up, go back. But it's the psyche that you want to say, oh, did I miss anything? What happened? What time is it? Because you feel like you've been sleeping for 20 hours, you only been asleep for 2.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So you had the janitorial company, you had a tax service, and you decide to give those businesses up. Why did you decide to get into communications? Because, this space, in my opinion, it's a little saturated because everybody is a communication something. If you got a podcast, a video cast, a newsletter, a blog post, a Facebook page, everybody should be. Let me just say it. But what made you decide to get into it, and what part of communications are you in at this point?
Well, all the industries you named are saturated. Everybody got a janitorial company. Everybody want to do taxes. Um, so I feel like as saturated as it is, there's enough people out here
Yeah.
that everybody can be successful. And then even if you're not successful, thank you for your time. Let me get your business. And so what made me get into communications? Well, one, working with you. Let's just be honest. This is the most I've been in communications in my life, the past 4 years. I've been interviewed every other week. I've been on somebody's newspaper. I'm always in somebody's newspaper.
Always.
I'm in somebody's news, and so I've grasped a liking to the communications realm on that standpoint. But what made me get into it is I saw this opportunity. I met this lovely lady that owns a magazine, and I liked her. I like the magazine. It reminded me of the Jet magazine, and it's direct mail, come to your house. I think Jet used to come to your house too.
Mm-hmm.
You could subscribe, yeah, come to your house. And so met her at the right time. She was ready to retire and sell, and sometimes opportunities come hit you right in the head, and either you're gonna be blind and don't take it, or you're gonna follow the divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And so but rewind, I was already the MD Communications was already created prior to me meeting her, because I'm an authorized dealer for AT&T and DirecTV, and so I guess so that's when it started. I just saw an opportunity. I'm a businessman, and I'm always looking for streams of income. My goal is to have streams of income to flow into a river of wealth, or ocean of wealth, I should say, an ocean of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
They say you need 7 streams to become wealthy, and so I saw that as a stream of income. That I looked into it, and I became an authorized dealer of AT&T, so I can get you internet service, I can get you television, I can get you cell phones, but so since but I haven't really been pushing that because chambering and family and work. But when I met her, I met her through the chamber. I don't know how I met her. I can't remember how I met her now. But I met her. Oh, well, yeah, I saw her magazine. Then I reached out to her, and that's how. And so, but when she started talking to me about ready to retire and sell and all the whole 9 yards, it ring in the back of my head. Oh, you already have you started a communication company by when you reached into AT&T. And so end up getting involved with that company and starting About Magazines Gwinnett, which is a direct mail advertising service in Gwinnett County. Right now it's in Snellville. the goal is to have one in every city in Gwinnett. So right now it's 16, and could possibly be 17.
I heard that.
So the goal is to have an About magazines Gwinnett in every city in Gwinnett. It's a local for local businesses in those areas, community-based advertising. Our first issue went out in September. Got phone calls from businesses that received it in their house. Like, hey, how do I advertise it? I would love to get a part of this. So it's already picking up. And then as I continue to learn more about advertising, as you know, I've worked on campaigns, been a part of campaigns, know the need of advertising, know the cost to advertise for these political campaigns and whatnot. This made me start looking, and then my conversation for you let me know that I had everything I needed to move forward. Keep on. I said, well, I didn't have this. I didn't have this to become an approved vendor through Hulu. And you were like, Derrick, you have this and you have that. I was like, no, I don't. But then I realized I did. Mm-hmm. So that's how I ended up becoming an approved advertiser with Hulu. Also an approved advertiser through Pandora, Sirius XM Radio, iHeartRadio, Univision Radio, and have access to millions of podcasts, advertisement. And then obviously I'm not going to jump on the train and not grab my friend with me, and so just start working on things to incorporate. Well, now I can provide people opportunities to not only advertise, Hulu and all this and that, but you can also advertise on Good Morning Gwinnett. You can also advertise on their platform and things of that nature. And so I've never been one to, as they say, forget where you come from or forget. I would have never got into the media space if I would never met Audrey. So, I mean, if we're being honest, half of the stuff I'm doing is what I was asking Audrey to do anyway.
So, if you're being honest,
eventually I want to look into billboards, because it's just so many opportunities out there in this space. You say it's saturated, but in the advertisement space, it's saturated, but it's not saturated by people that look like us.
And I think where you are right now is good too, because it's going to allow the people that we serve the opportunity to get on those platforms, because I'm sure they were thinking that's out of reach for us. That's out of reach for me. Like I can't be on a Hulu. Now you and I know that's different. Like we know you can be on right. It's important, but they don't think that, because they're looking at TV as if I can't be on TV. And I've been saying this, Derrick, since 2013. You can be on TV. Nobody will listen to me. They're like, yeah, I can't be on TV. I'm like, no, I can put you on TV. I could put you on somebody's TV. I've been saying that forever, since 13. And I would tell people that, and they would look at me like, you can't. And then when I put people on TV, like, not only did I put people on TV, I put people on TV with their own shows, right? So they had their own stuff. They could do these things, but I think the other thing too is, again, we service a group of people who just don't have the time to put out that type of content. So if they're in a space where, we could create ads for them and then put the ads on these platforms and still make it affordable, that's a great service to have. And I think the fact that you are in this space now is going to open up more opportunities for them to be seen on all of these platforms. And let me just say this to y'all. You can say what you want to say about everything social media. If you are trying to build a brand, you need to be everywhere. Every single platform, because that's what brands do. If you look at Burger King, McDonald's, and all these places, you don't see them one place. They show up wherever you show up.
They're everywhere.
Listen, you can show up inside of the Waze app. Guess what's going to show up? Starbucks. Inside of the same app on your phone. They show up everywhere. You know why? Because they have brands. And that's the importance of building a brand, being everywhere. Now, you may not necessarily be able to afford all of these platforms right now, but as your brand expands and your revenue starts to come in more, then you can expand. Now you got somebody you can go to and you can touch. I don't know how touchable you're going to be in a minute, but you can touch him right now, because, he's a businessman. He ain't the chamber president. He's the communications MD president. You can touch him and he can say this, hey, I can get you on Pandora. How many people stream on Pandora? Billions.
Yeah. And a lot of people like, well, you can pay for Pandora and bypass advertisement. but 98% of their listeners listen for free.
That's right.
You got billionaire LeBron James that refused to pay. Was it $19.99 a month?
Well, I don't blame him. Like, what I need
Why?
to pay for? I don't care about
listen to this. I can listen to this 30-second commercial.
That's right. We were raised on commercials.
Right.
Like, as much as I watch YouTube and I watch YouTube a lot, you would think that I would pay the $7.99 for the subscription, right? Just so I can avoid the commercials. Not only do I not avoid the commercials on YouTube, I take all the surveys YouTube, and I watch YouTube on my TV. So in my bed at night, that's why I was up at 12:30 last night watching YouTube. I'm watching YouTube at 12 o'clock at night, and YouTube popped a survey on my TV, and I take the freaking surveys, Derrick. Have you ever heard this movie before? Never heard of that movie. Nope. So
that's the goal. My overall goal is, to get small businesses the opportunity to advertise at movie theaters, to get small business to get those advertising opportunity that you only think that the Starbucks and the Walmarts are able to do. Like currently in the pipeline, I'm waiting on approval from Fox Media. Fox Media have all the Foxes, of course, but they also own Pluto.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, went to Pluto. It took me to Fox, and so it's so many different avenues to advertise and to get exposure. At the end of the day, the goal is exposure. I've said it as the chamber president. People join the chamber for exposure and for business growth. And so as I continue to think of ways to provide exposure for members, I've come across different opportunities, and the advertising opportunity was one of the opportunities that I was like, oh, this is actually a great space that I can be in, because I have no problem speaking with people, and I can really intertwine them. I can be at a function as the president and still talk about the chamber, and then turn around and talk to you about your exposure, opportunity. And then, as we continue, as I continue to explore this avenue, then I can find ways of how I can now, as a business owner, not in quotes, but as a business owner, how I can also provide value to the chamber. Because a lot of people think they join the chamber and then, what can the chamber do for me? Well, like JFK said, what can you do for the country? What can you do for the chamber? If I believe that the chamber should be able to look out into its membership, find services, and then use those services to be able to bring value to the chamber. Hey, join our chamber because we're able to provide you with, accounting services through one of our members. We're able to provide you that. We're able to, we have a partnership with a print shop, and we're able to get you these. We can beat Vista Print prices right here locally, and that's a member. That's my goal. And so obviously, by me being the president of the advertising agency, obviously I'm going to incorporate packages where members will get opportunity to have these advertisement exposure opportunities that's not going to cost them an arm and a leg. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to help businesses. And, and obviously I have to, be able to put some food on my plate.
Absolutely. Like, well, listen, can't go broke right here helping y'all. Got to put some food on the table too now. Got to put some food on the table. So listen, this has been great. Listen, we can do this. Derrick and I used to do this every Sunday when we talk politics. We could do this all day long, especially in this space right here in politics, but we won't, because I got to get on the highway. My baby's in a competition, and I got to get on the sugar baby. Seeing the cheerleading competition.
Are you one of them? You about to be one of them Dan's mom cheerleader grandma?
Cheerleader grandmother. Yes, I was at one Saturday, and then I'm on my way to Alabama. Then I think we're at Tennessee next, and then Alabama, Athens, Tennessee, Florida, Savannah.
Okay, let me find out you up there hitting them old ladies upside their head for looking at your granddaughter.
You better not say nothing about my granddaughter. Now I'll fight about that. Like,
be on TV.
bad knee and all, be on TikTok. See me falling down the bleachers.
Oh yeah, don't do
I
that.
mean, was that your mother on TikTok? I look just like your mother. No, I'm not gonna do that though. But I'm about to hit the highway. Derrick, listen, this has been great. We got to do it again. You know, when Derrick is not stepping on my toes and mashing my coins, we make a good team.
Not mashing coins.
Mashing my coins, you know, we make a good team. So and we both have the passion for helping small businesses. You know, is it a lot? Yes. Do we deal with a lot? Yes, we do. You know, do we have to deal with a lot of personalities? Do we have to walk with all these knives stuck in our backs, wrapped up in band-aids? Yep, all of that. You know, are we unsung heroes? I wouldn't say heroes, but we definitely unsung, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But we don't do it because, you know, we're here for the accolades. We do it because we are small business owners ourselves. We know what it's like to be in the trenches by yourself. We know what it's like to be in a position where, you know, you need more exposure, but you can't get it. You don't have the money, you don't have the people, you don't have a lot of stuff. We know what those things feel like. That's why it's important for us to keep doing what we're doing. So I ain't gonna stop just yet. Not just yet, but I am
not tired yet in that song.
I ain't super tired yet. I'm tired, but not super tired. But at some point we want to be able to pass a baton, but a one that's strong. We don't want to pass them, you know, something that's still halfway done and falling apart. We know what that's like to pick up the pieces. Yeah. Something that's falling apart. So we don't want to be those people. We want to pass along a strong organization while we go ahead and continue to build our legacies for our family. So I thank you for being on this morning. Check out the magazine, y'all, about GwinnettGA.com. If you know you need, listen, he just said he mailed it out and people came. That's because it went to their door. And it wasn't like a postcard. It was a magazine.
It was a magazine, like a jet magazine.
So that's why people looked at it, because I look at all. I'm a magazine junkie. Anybody that knows me, I love a magazine. I have subscriptions. Yes, I still have subscriptions. I know you guys think the magazines are dead. They're not. They come to my house every month, at least 3 of them. I love magazines. I always have. But the good thing about them is your message could be in About magazine. So aboutgwinnett.com. So be sure to subscribe to the magazine, get your copy, subscribe, post your ad in the magazine. And by all means, check out both of the chambers. If you want to know more about the chambers, be sure to go to mygecc.org and check out Gwinnett, Greater Eastside Chamber. And if you want to know more about Gwinnett Women's Chamber, you go to GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com. So Derrick, thanks again. It's been fun. We got to do it again. I got to go because I got to get on the road. And I'll be back. Listen, I'll be back again. Next week, we talking AI. I was supposed to talk AI last Friday, but my husband got sick, so I was sleeping in the chair in the hospital. I will be here to talk about AI next week. You want to know why you should come to the Georgia AI Summit, but you also want to know how AI can really benefit you. And you want to know if it's going to replace your job. So you want to make sure you subscribe, go on over to Facebook, go head on over to Facebook and subscribe to Good Morning Gwinnett. That way you don't miss a show. That way, whenever we get ready to go live, you will get a notification saying, hey, the Friday Morning Mingle for Good Morning Gwinnett is about to go live. If you don't subscribe, you're going to miss it. So go on over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be sure it's Good Morning Gwinnett. So it's youtube.com/@Good Morning Gwinnett. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll get a notification when I go live next week. If you missed this episode, it will be posted on the Good Morning Gwinnett website in about 1 hour. So you can go back and listen to the whole episode there if you missed any parts of it. All right, Derrick, have a great weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday. Thank you again. Listen, you guys stay safe out there. Have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, my friends, make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for tuning in to the Friday Morning Mingle. If you enjoyed this episode of the show, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite streaming platform. If you would like to join a community of women who mean business, we invite you to become a member of the Gwinnett Women's Chamber of Commerce by going to www.GwinnettWomen'sChamber.com, or to become a member of the Thrive Tribe, go to www.thrivetribe.biz. Tune in next week for another great episode of the Friday Morning Mingle at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.